So you're an attorney, and you've decided to go out on your own. Now what? You need a plan, and you're not alone. Join expert host Adriana Linares and her distinguished guests on New Solo. Tune into the lively conversation as they share insights and information about how to successfully run your law firm. Here on Legal Talk Network.
Hello and welcome to New Solo on Legal Talk Network. I'm Adriana Linares, your host. I'm a legal technology trainer and consultant. I help lawyers and law firms use technology better. Before we get started on a really fun episode with two of my dearest friends, we're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Nexa, formerly known as Answer One, is a leading virtual receptionist and answering service provider for law firms. Learn more by giving them a call at 800-267-9371 or visit them online at nexa.com. Thanks to our sponsor, Clio. Clio's cloud-based practice management software makes it easy to manage your law firm from intake to invoice. Try it for free at clio.com, and that's CLIO.com. We want to thank our sponsor, Law Clerk, where attorneys go to hire freelance lawyers. Visit lawclerk.legal to learn how to increase your productivity and your profits by working with talented freelance lawyers. Thanks to courtfiling.net. E-file court documents with ease in California, Illinois, Indiana, and Texas. If you file in Los Angeles Superior Court, you know that e-filing has recently become mandatory, and courtfiling.net is there to help. All right. So, we're in Florida today, and I've come to visit my friend Liz McCausland, who has been a guest on not just my podcast, but other podcasts, and has hosted and co-hosted. But I've never really interviewed Liz about how she efficiently runs her life and practice, which she does. She's a model to all of her friends, and we all turn to her for all kinds of advice, notwithstanding that the network of people between her and her mom are incredibly impressive, and whether we need a house painter, a dry cleaner, a chauffeur, we need to know how to cure a wart. We all turn to Liz for information like this, right, Renee?
Liz is a fountain of knowledge.
A fountain of knowledge and resources. It's actually very amazing. Hi, Renee.
Hi, how are you, Adriana?
Good. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
I'm so lucky that Liz and Renee are headed off tonight to an
alumni reception.
So Renee happens to be my guest that we had on last month. So when I spend a lot of time in Florida, I tend to gravitate toward my Florida friends. So Renee, thanks for helping me co-host.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to have you. Tell everybody a little bit about your practice before we turn to Liz and then figure out how she has all these amazing resources.
So I am a solo civil attorney and also a mediator with Upchurch, Watson, White, and Max. So I split my time between both litigating and mediating.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more?
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I serve on the Florida Bar Board of Governors and have served on that for 8 years, actually.
It's a long damn time to serve for a board of governors. I'm wondering if you will ever ascend to the highest peak of leadership at the Florida Bar. Renee.
Well, funny you mention it. I am actually running for president-elect of the Florida Bar in the fall. So you will see my name on a ballot in Florida.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It is. Coincidentally, we have another friend in the room, which I'll be actually interviewing a little bit later, who's also running for an elected position among the world of Florida and everything. So it's pretty exciting. You ladies are really amazing and impressive. And then there's Liz. Okay, so Liz.
I'm not running for anything.
Okay. No, as a matter of fact, you're done running for stuff.
Done.
Tell us a little bit about your practice, your past, and why you aren't running for things anymore.
Well, I am a solo practitioner. I am what I call a recovering insurance defense attorney. So for the first 13 years of my career, I tried civil cases and decided that was no longer for me. So I did a total 180, and now I practice bankruptcy and I mediate. And I've been very fortunate to find a little niche in the bankruptcy world where I mediate primarily bankruptcy cases in 5 different states, and then practice locally doing bankruptcies and mediations, and then I was involved with both the Florida Bar and the Orange County Bar, having served as the Orange County Bar's past president, and now I'm in happy retirement from all of that.
No more running.
No more running.
Just from the law.
Try not to do that.
Which we can actually tease next month's episode, because I'm going to be back here tomorrow to record next month's episode. And for all you listeners, you are not going to want to miss next month's episode, because it will be a really fascinating and interesting conversation and an insight into why we talk about Liz the way she does, because your mother was once arrested.
Yes.
In Vietnam.
Yes.
And was put in Vietnamese prison.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to listen to the next episode to find out how Liz helped get her out.
That's a good teaser. I'd like to find out myself.
So the reason we're all here is because you run a solo practice. Occasionally you have a receptionist and an office assistant, but right now you don't.
Correct. I do have a virtual assistant.
It's one of the reasons we're here. You use a lot of third-party services. You are not afraid to spend money on a monthly fee or a service for deliveries or assistance, and I really wanted to talk to you about that because you're so good at doing that. And I feel like a lot of lawyers, lawyers are not, just humans in general, we're so either not used to that or so afraid or so unsure that instead people are scrambling, trying to figure out how to balance work, life, living, and still bill and make money. So I really just wanted to talk to you about some of your favorite services. I know, Renee, you have some too, and I thought we would just have a chat about some of your favorite services that you use and why.
So, Liz, we just got through Amazon Prime Day. So I say got through because I mean got through all the boxes, right?
And literally just put them outside the door.
Right. So I want you to share with the listeners how you use Amazon in your solo practice, because it was always something that's really impressed me about you is how you've used that service to keep your office stocked on a regular basis. So if you could just share a little bit about what you use for Amazon purposes so that other folks can use it too.
Oh, and do you have a business account? Because mine's still personal, but it's always asking me if I want to get a business account.
I don't have a business account. It does always ask me. But, I guess let me start by saying I don't understand the fear that people have in kind of outsourcing.
I don't either.
There's too much. I think all of us here and probably those listening, there's just too much to remember on the day-to-day. So when you talk about work-life balance, I really try to get all those little things that pile up in my head out and have someone else deal with them so that I can focus on the things I need to focus on. So one way I do that is by taking those little to-dos and trying to automate them so I don't have to think about them. And so I have the Amazon Prime shipment, and I have them automatically ship certain items to me on a regular basis so I don't have to think about it. So every couple months I'll get a restock of toilet paper and paper towels for the office, paper for the office, anything that I know I need that I would normally put down on a to-buy list or a to-do list. I just get it automatically shipped. And if I don't need it that month, they send you before they ship it a little reminder that it's about to go out, and you just tell it, no, skip this month and do it next month. And that's a whole lot quicker than making sure I pick it up while I'm at one of the local stores.
That's a big time saver.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big time saver.
No-brainer. But I think...
but it simplifies things
it does,
by automating it.
It does. And I think what happens is there are so many of you as solos that have an office, whether it's your home office or in Liz's case, she's got a really wonderful space. It was originally a small residence, and it's on a street that's a little more commercial now. Obviously, it was residential at some point. So she's got a really nice office space, and to have paper towels show up, wine. Do you have the wine delivered?
I don't. That usually does get delivered, but not by Amazon.
Who delivers the wine?
My good friends.
Sometimes you got to rely on people. I was just lamenting over the weekend with a friend who's having trouble with his dogs. So get a dog trainer. And, he thinks he has it all figured out. And I said, I don't understand why we're so reticent to ask for help in certain parts of our lives when we as humans have been relying on other humans to help us with delivery of mail, of milk, of everything. Tow trucks come and take away our cars. Like, why don't we more openly just say, okay, let me get some help from some of these great third-party services. So Amazon is a good start.
Well, I'll tell you, I've worked with Renée for a lot of years. We served on the Young Lawyers Board of Governors together. And one of the things that Renée was really good at was parceling out what everyone's strengths and weaknesses were. And I think I kind of parlayed that talent that she had into looking at my own life and what are my strengths and weaknesses, and remembering little things like that is not a strength. And so I just tried to take it off my to-do list.
You're actually servicing a weakness.
Yes.
By recognizing, and I'm the same way.
But it becomes a strength.
It does.
That's what's so awesome. Because how many times, at least in the solo world, have you thought, wow, if I had just had that delivered, it would already be here.
I'm out of paper.
Don't have to make a Target run. I don't have to make a Staples run. And you go through that process and just, taking the 5 steps of automating that so that it asks you if you need it.
Plus, you get a discount when you automate on Amazon.
Yep, you get a discount. I have an Amazon credit card. I get the points. I apply those points to other items that I need. Some of them fun, some of them not so fun. I have a Ring doorbell that I use so that I don't have to be in the office. I can answer the door with the doorbell. I've got pretty much everything automated. Even my home is automated to some extent so that when I come home, the lights turn on when I'm close to my house so I don't walk into a dark house. It's just the little things that make it a little bit more convenient to live my daily life.
I swear, it's those little life hacks. I have 3 different sets of keys for 3 different homes, and all of them have a top lock and a bottom lock. And on the set of keys, every one of the top locks has a little rubber key thing on it so that I don't even have to think about which key goes into the top lock. And especially when my hands are full or it's dark or it's late, it really is these little things that simplify your life. Tell me a little bit about your love for the robots.
I love the robots.
I love
robots. They don't love me. They don't love me. They think I don't speak English when I ask them to do things.
Well, it is not your first language. So.
You wouldn't think it is, but unfortunately it is. But no, everything that I can also automate through Alexa, I do. And so when I do run out of something that is not normally on my purchase list, I just tell my friend Alexa to put it on the list. And so that when I am shopping or out and about looking to see what errands I need to do, I can quickly look.
Yes.
And I kind of integrate it with Todoist, which allows me also to tag things. So if I need to make calls, or if I have 5 minutes, I can tag items that I know will only take 5 minutes. So when I'm sitting there for 5 minutes at the doctor's office, I can actually look at my list of things that have been pending and look for what only takes 5 minutes and start to knock those out.
But how do you do that between Alexa and Todoist?
They integrate.
Using a Zap, or that's an Alexa skill?
It's just an Alexa skill.
Okay, so let's talk real quick about skills.
It's a Todoist skill. It integrates with Alexa's to-do list. And so when I speak into Alexa, it appears on my Todoist. And one of the reasons I like Todoist as well is it will also email me as much as I want, but I set it for every morning, a list of my to-dos.
That's a game changer.
Yeah. So when I sit in the morning, I can kind of figure out what things am I going to tackle today.
If you're one of those people who in the middle of the night thinks of things and needs to write it down, that's perfect because you're literally saying, Alexa, put this on the list. And then in the morning it sends it to you.
And that's exactly what I do.
You don't have to turn the lights on.
No.
You might wake someone up, but hey, that's okay. But 2:00 in the morning, you're like, Alexa, remind me to order wine in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so real quick.
And bill it to Adriana.
And then my Alexa immediately deletes any bills she receives from your Alexa. And let's just talk real quick about skills, just in case. So there's lots of robots that we like. There's obviously Alexa and Amazon. I also have a Google Home. And
there's Siri.
And then there's, of course, Siri, right?
Is Alexa smarter than Siri? Can we
Yes.
just have that conversation? I think it is, right? Maybe?
But they're neither one of them is as smart as Google.
I have Google,
Yeah.
but I don't like it as much.
You're wrong. Try again. No, I like them all, but Google for certain things, like Google's hilarious. I'll say, hey, Google, what time does Floyd's on Fairbanks close? And Google says Floyd's at Fairbanks closes at 6 o'clock. But Alexa does that too, but she goes an extra step. She goes, would you like to call them? And I say, yes. And then Alexa calls.
Right.
And through Alexa, while I'm doing the dishes or whatever it is I'm doing, I can make the phone call, talk through Alexa to make a reservation. Yes. So I think definitely adopting the robots and learning to love them if you haven't yet is just critical. Let's talk about Fancy Hands, because you turned me on to Fancy Hands.
Yes. So for those listening, if you're not aware, Fancy Hands is just a virtual assistant service. And you can buy packages of service. So I think their lowest package is $29.99, and it gives you 6.
Five.
Is it 5? Okay, I think it used to be 6. But so 5 20-minute increments of time. So it works out to be less than I would have paid my assistant to do these tasks. And so a lot of times I will ask Fancy Hands to do tasks that I wouldn't ask my assistant, but so it would fall on me. So things that I've asked in the past, I got my mom a Fitbit, it died. I asked them to look up what the warranty was. The next thing you know, I had a new Fitbit on my doorstep as a replacement. I've asked them to shop for gifts for clients who, I tell them the specifications, and they send me a list of 10 things to choose from. And I choose one, obviously, and they can purchase for you if you give them authorization for anything under $200. So they can order flowers, make appointments. I've had them do spreadsheets for me.
I have too.
Type for me. I've had them research. I found a cheap flight out of Baltimore. I've had them research, what's the connecting flight from Orlando to Baltimore that I can use my miles on this airline. And they give me a list of what flight I need to book that meets those specifications. So they can be used for anything that you don't need, hands-on in the office.
Do you use them, Renee?
I use them all the time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what kind of things do you use them for?
So anything that's not client confidential, I use them for. Liz mentioned spreadsheets. I use them for spreadsheets all the time. You talk about knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. Spreadsheets were never a strength for me. I knew how to do it, but the formulas took me forever, and it was just not worth my time. And asking my assistant to do it, if it wasn't their strength, same problem. So now I just send it to them, and it comes back all put together, and it works. And it just saves that little bit of extra time, that extra stress of not having to sit there and try to figure it all out. So I use them quite a bit also just for retyping things or, kind of making things look a certain way. I've actually had them help me with presentations before. If I've had to give a presentation on a particular topic, they've done research for me. They've helped me put it together into a PowerPoint. They've done imaging for that. I mean, they've just, like I said, whatever it is that you need to do that is frankly just draining your time, think about, can you delegate it to them?
And it's interesting how the service works because it's web. You don't typically talk to a human. You put in your task either just online.
You can call, you can text,
or there's an app,
yeah.
Right? And you can text. So you can upload your task and any associated documents. And they have them, they're all in the U.S., they're U.S. based, and they work 24/7-ish.
Yes.
So basically, if you put in a task on a Monday evening, there's a chance that it's in your inbox by the time you get into the office on Tuesday, because they must just employ people who work from their homes at whatever hours they want, and people log on. And I think you can actually go on the website, and it'll show you a map of the U.S. where Fancy Hands are currently logged in and working.
Oh, that is really neat.
Yeah. So, that's been a really, really helpful.
I mean, they did all my labels for my Christmas cards.
I was going to say, I sent
things
them.
that are just time consuming, that need to be done right, need to look good. But at the same time, you don't want your staff wasting time on it. You don't want to waste time on it.
I feel like they're highly trained professional admin assistants is, I think, how I would put it. So that's very good. What else do you got on your list of bag of tricks?
I'd love to pick up my phone and check, but as you know, I just lost my phone.
Liz's phone is at the bottom of Tampa Bay right now.
Liz uses Trello.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So we got to talk about Trello because I think that has so much potential, especially with automation.
I just started using it.
Me too.
And
because of Liz.
it is the first, and I use it for a to-do list. I know you're supposed to use it for workflow.
No, you
and
can use it for to-do
use it
list.
for whatever you want, but I'm super into it now, and I use it a lot with Zaps from Zapier. So I have it so that in Gmail, if I star an item, it puts it in my Trello board, and then I can move it. In Outlook, if I flag an item, it also will take that whole email and put it on my Trello list. And every board has an email address, which I like, so that you can forward any of your emails into a Trello board and then, figure out where to organize it. So I really mostly use it for a to-do list, but you are very good at using it for workflows and planning.
I use it for a lot of planning, and I'm a nerd about it. So anytime I take a trip, I put all of the details on the trip on there. So
Did you upgrade your account?
No.
So it's just the free Trello?
Yeah, just the free Trello. Yeah. So I'll take pictures of, the flight information, the hotel reservations, the number for the airport pickup and transfer. And then I invite anyone who's traveling with me onto the board so that we're not all trying to dig through our emails to find information and we're not having to print off stuff. It's all with us. I also use it. I have one that I put all the things that I want to do. So
like a bucket list?
That's what it's called. It's called My Bucket List. It's got restaurants, it's got movies, TV shows. When anybody says, have you watched this show? I just put it on the board that next time I'm looking to spend needless hours on the couch binge watching, I can choose from one of many things. I keep a reading list because I do a lot of audiobooks. And so I don't just have an Audible account. I use Hoopla and one other library account so I can get free audiobooks as well as Audible. And then I also have a Kindle, and then I also buy books. So sometimes I don't recall which books I've read or which books I purchased and have, and in what format they are. So I keep a board that has like ongoing reading or things I've read this year, and then it has a little flag that says whether it was an audiobook or a physical book. So when I try to loan it to someone or tell them about it, I can see if I have it in a loanable format.
Now, I have it from a pretty good anonymous source that if someone is vacationing with you and you have shared a Trello board and someone asks a question,
I put it on the Trello board.
which could be answered by looking at the Trello board.
Yes. Oh,
it's a demerit.
Another thing I use that I love to use is Splitwise when you're traveling.
Okay.
Because, someone is always having to get the Uber and someone else is, if you go to a restaurant, instead of splitting the checks amongst many cards, you have one person pay, and then they just input it in Splitwise. At the end of the trip, it tells you, it's just like a spreadsheet. It just keeps a running spreadsheet, and at the end of the trip, it tells you how much you owe each person.
Wow.
And that's it.
Makes things so easy.
What
So
a
much
robot.
easier. So much easier.
Is that an app?
It's an app. It's called Splitwise.
Really smart, especially because people travel in groups all the time.
All the time.
And especially for conferences and work and stuff.
And I hate to owe people. So, I want to make sure that
That's funny because our anonymous source, which is sitting over there quietly, hates it when people owe her. So Splitwise probably helps everybody. Yeah. Well, let's take just a quick break and listen to a couple of messages from some sponsors. We'll be right back. CourtFiling.net, your solution for electronic filing in California, Illinois, Indiana, and Texas. CourtFiling.net provides a better e-filing experience so you can spend more time helping clients. Because they know that work sometimes happens after hours, CourtFiling.net offers 24/7 phone, email, and chat support. Visit them at CourtFiling.net to receive 30 days of unlimited free electronic filings and see how you too can e-file court documents with ease. If you're missing calls, appointments, and potential clients, it's time to work with Nexa Professional. More than just an answering service, Nexa's virtual receptionists are available 24/7 to schedule appointments, qualified leads, respond to emails, integrate with your firm's software, and much more. Nexa ensures your clients have the experience they deserve. Give them a call at 800-267-9371 or visit them at nexa.com/podcast for a special offer. Okay, and we're back. I'm at the law office of Liz McCausland in Orlando, Florida. My dear friend Renée Thompson is here. Hi, Renée.
Hi, Adriana.
We're just talking about making our lives easier and using services. And I think if I ever sat down and added up what I pay for some of these monthly services, I'd be terrified. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is delivery services. So I use Shipt.
I use Instacart.
Great. Do you use any of this?
I just do pickup delivery. So I do online and go to Target and they put it in your car and you go home. So.
And you know what I love about that? If you ever use, it used to be called Ebates, and it's now some name that I'm going to butcher. But the Ebates, you can, it gives you cash back.
Like Rakuten or whatever?
Rakuten, that's what it's called now. And so that gives you cash back. So you can actually do the pickup in store, and it just is like getting a discount. So sometimes it's 10% cash back. You're going to go to the store anyway. They've already pulled it for you. It's just waiting there. You walk in, you get it, and you've gotten 10%
That's really smart.
cash back.
I can't even do that kind of math. So I use Shipt, and I love Shipt, which is a grocery delivery service. But I think they also deliver from Costco, ABC, different, and you use Instacart. What I love about those services is I can have things delivered to my office, or I can have it delivered to my Orlando home when I'm Orlando, or I can use it in New Orleans. So as these services just become more ubiquitous and available, even, I mean, New Orleans took a while to get it. And now that it has it, I'm so happy because I don't have a car in New Orleans. So having all this stuff delivered is really helpful.
And Walmart is actually experimenting with a service in 3 areas. The only one in Florida is going to be Vero Beach, but they will not only purchase, you purchase your groceries, they will deliver them, they will put them in your fridge for you. So that's next level how they're going to do things.
So can I tell a quick funny story? I had the Shipt deliverer, a Shipt shopper in New Orleans that she was so fun and funny, just texting me about the groceries. I don't know that. And then she kindly dropped them off and I wasn't there and blah, blah, blah. So then somehow I just kept messaging with her and I said, by the way, do you do any other sort of concierge service?
Since you're here.
And so nice. And she was like, no, what do you mean? And I said, well, I only live here part-time, and oftentimes I need someone to go by my apartment and water my plants, or I've had a package delivered and I just need some help. And this lady and I have become friends, and she has been helping me for almost 2 years that way. And I have a friend in Orlando who's a part-time stay-at-home mom who just wanted a little bit of money. And I have her run errands for me every week because I travel a lot. I have her go to the post office, pick up, drop off dry cleaning. It's as simple as putting a message on Facebook that says, hey, does anybody know someone who has a couple of spare hours just looking to run some errands? I think I pay a little more than I need to. I pay $20 an hour because I want them to keep helping me. But I think you could really find someone for $15, $18, $20 an hour to get all of these things off of your list. My friend Jen that helps me here in Orlando, I give her 1 gas tank a month also. So she really runs around for me and helps me with these dumb, mundane things I don't have time for the limited time that I am in Orlando.
She's dropped off things here for you.
Yes, she's amazing. So I think a lot of what I'm trying to say is ask for help, get help. Many of us are we're overworked, overrun, underpaid. There's never an empty task list. Have you ever seen a to-do list that's completely crossed off?
No.
If you did, you would be unemployed.
You're dead. You're dead.
Well, and when you say it's as easy as going on Facebook, I have a virtual assistant who works from her home, and she is actually an old secretary of mine from my old law firm. So she, when I left, she stayed, and then when she retired, I reached out to her about helping me, and so she works from home and makes her own hours and does what I need to get done. But she does it all from the comfort of her home, and she's retired, so she's just making a little income on the side. There's no obligation to come into the office, dress up. She just makes
How do
her
you
own
communicate with her? Like, how do you give her to-do list?
What she does is pretty much the same all the time. She does a lot of what we call my portal work. So as I said, I mediate in 5 different states, and they all upload their documents to a portal. So she goes on the portal and checks to see if any of them need to be scheduled for mediations, and she does all my mediation scheduling. So mostly we communicate by email, and from time to time we'll pick up the phone and just talk.
So I share with Jen, my friend that helps me here in Orlando, the iPhones. We both have iPhones, and you can share a note. So just in the Notes app. So I'll either put things in there, or I'll say, Siri, add pickup prescription from CVS to my Jen to-do list. And there it goes. she crosses it off once she's done it. Then she just gets rid of it, and I know that it's been done. So there's really a lot of ways to communicate with someone who isn't in your presence all the time. Speaking of which, Fiverr, Upwork, Thumbtack.
I use them.
I do too. And I'll tell a story real quick. I'm helping an attorney who's leaving her big law firm, Katie. Remember, we don't have to say last names, but we can say Katie. And today I was talking to her, and I said, "Have you gotten your firm logo?" She goes, "Oh my God, I did." She goes, "And I paid, are you ready? What do you think I paid?" I was like, "I don't know, $500. She goes, "No, I paid $25. And I thought, Fiverr? She goes, "How did you know?" So tell us about Fiverr.
So I use Fiverr a lot.
I use Fiverr for totally different reasons.
I use Fiverr a lot for things that, number one, I don't know how to do. I'm not a graphic design artist. So I have used them many times to design graphics for me for either an event, or I do crafting on the side. So if a friend needs a t-shirt made or something like that, and I just need the design so that I can cut it on my little Cricut in my decompression time, they're all laughing at me. Then I go and I have them create the design. But then I've also used Fiverr for things like translating documents. My dad, I had a card made for him, like a caricature of him drawn for a Father's Day card. So you can get anything done on there, but you do have to be careful with who you use, because a lot of times it is people from other countries, and they may not understand some of the things that you're asking really clearly. Like I said, I'd like the Georgia peach in this logo, and she had no idea what that was.
So peach named Georgia?
A peach. She didn't know.
It was not the Georgia peach.
It was. I just wanted a peach in the logo, and so that took some back and forth. But if you vet them well, which clearly I didn't vet that well on that one, but
lesson learned.
If you vet them well, you shouldn't have those problems.
I think our anonymous source in the corner here had her logo designed for her cottage business on Fiverr, and it's F like Frank, I, V like Victor, ERR.com. And I think it started because originally everything was $5 on there, but of course the service
Now
grew.
it's $5 increments.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Fiverr, 10,
That's
15,
the extra
or 20.
R.
So great. So Fiverr is good for graphic design, creative work, crafty work. And then Upwork, which I use all the time, is really good for heavy duty administrative work. So if you have, let's say you go to a conference and come back with 200 business cards and scan them all. I have someone on Upwork that I have been using now for about a year that does that sort of just data entry for me. And this is so terrible. $3 an hour. I can't even handle it. I pay her $5. I'm like, let me pay you $5. I can't, how could I ever pay anyone $3? And then I envision her saying to her husband, "There's this crazy American that wants to pay me $5 an hour." But I mean, I can't imagine not paying her $5 an hour. And she gets the work done overnight because she's overseas, and it's been really great. So I love Upwork for administrative work, and you can get sophisticated.
Yes.
Help on there too. I'm giving a very simple data entry example, but.
And I use Thumbtack for any kind of professional services. Yes. So I know there are some attorneys who actually are on Thumbtack, but I don't use it for anything legal. I always use it for professional services. Like we used them once because we needed a photographer. I have also used them to mount a TV onto a wall. To do some various repairs.
Yep, I had my house pressure washed for $99. Yes, it's a small house.
But that's still amazing.
Thumbtack. Yeah. So Thumbtack is really more like local humans that do home repairs, delivery, house cleaning, and that sort of stuff.
And when you post, they bid or they give you what their services are and their price range. And so it's a way of finding out who they are, and then you can interview them and decide who you want to end up with.
And don't the two of you use Facebook's Marketplace a lot?
I do.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I do. Facebook Marketplace is really good for local things. So if I needed an extra chair for the office, or if I needed a bookshelf or just something, and you can go on there and put in a search and see if anyone in the local area has what you need.
Is it like a Craigslist?
It is, but you can actually see it, and you're not dealing with just a written document. I mean, it's a true picture, and it has all of the information about whatever it is. It's like a big flea market online in some ways. So, but you can put in the area that you want to get it. And you can find some really neat things. Like my mom, was a real China buff. So she had a particular pattern that she was always looking for. So I used to go on there and try to find the particular pattern. Somebody else was getting rid of a set or whatnot. And then you could find it on there. And even if it was in Orlando or somewhere else, the next time I went through, I could stop and pick up whatever I needed. So they have some unique things like that if you follow it, you can definitely do well, especially for office furniture.
Well, great. Well, let's take another quick break, listen to a couple messages from some sponsors. Then we'll come back and talk about more technology tools and services, maybe focus on some stuff that helps us run our businesses better. Imagine what you could do with an extra 8 hours per week. That's how much time legal professionals save with Clio, the world's leading practice management software. With intuitive time tracking, billing, and matter management, Clio streamlines everything you do to run your practice from intake to invoice. Try Clio for free and then get a 10% discount for your first 6 months when you sign up with the code NEWSOLO10. That's NEWSOLO10, and do that at Clio.com, CLIO.com. Law Clerk is where attorneys go to hire freelance lawyers. Whether you need a research memo or a complicated appellate brief, our network of freelance lawyers have every level of experience and expertise. Signing up is free and there are no monthly fees. Only pay the flat fee price you set. Use rebate code NEWSOLO to get a $100 Amazon gift card when you complete your next project. Learn more at lawclerk.legal. All right, and we're back. We've had a lot of good ideas and some fun chit chat with Renee and Liz about the services that we use to help make our lives easier. So I thought we would talk a little bit more about some of the technology that we use, especially in running your solo practices. I know you're both practice management users that use Clio.
Yes.
Renee takes it to an extra level and uses NetDocuments Liz McCausland.
I know.
Okay.
But I have a good reason, because I have that virtual assistant to use the Office 365, because we're both in the same document at the same time.
If listeners could see my face.
I know. I'm sorry, NetDocuments. I know you're awesome.
Just don't understand how you manage your documents without it. All right, so let's talk about some other things. Like, you're a big fan of the password manager.
Yes.
Which one do you use?
I use RoboForm, and I'll tell you why I chose that one.
Okay. Oh, good. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I chose it, I use it obviously because I have so many different ways that I work a lot remotely, so many different ways that I access websites, etc. And so it helps me to keep all the passwords. But because I do have a virtual assistant, I also share a document with her, because you can give people permissions for certain documents. I don't want her having the password to my life, but I do want her to have passwords to the things that we both have to be in, because many of them require us to change the password every 60, 90 days.
Right.
And so rather than always having to email in an unsecure format to her and tell her I changed the password, I can just share that RoboForm with her, make the change on the RoboForm, and she sees it. If she gets locked out, she can look at it and say, oh, we had to change the password.
Do you use a business account for that?
I
team
do.
account? Okay, so
I do. And then it wasn't that much. And I'll tell you
$19 a year for regular.
It really, and I'll tell you the main reason I got that account was because I wanted to save documents in case of my death that had what my accounts are for my relatives to know about. Renee and I hope to open a business, and I saved all of the websites, etc. And if I pass, I want her to have that information and be able to enter into that account and make it hers and everything else. And so that was the main reason, because RoboForm allowed me to share specific documents with specific people.
You mean specific passwords?
Well, the document itself. So I can share a whole folder of information with Renee.
No comprende.
So I can give
Where's the folder?
it's in RoboForm. So
Oh, like one of those safe notes? Is
yes,
that what you mean?
Yes,
oh,
it's
okay,
exactly.
okay.
So
okay.
I can share a safe
Okay.
note with her that tells her all the information, and same with my family. Sorry.
I was like, where? A whole document? What's this? Okay, no, you're right. So RoboForm, and we'll talk about RoboForm, but if you use LastPass or OnePass or Dashlane, they're all in the same family and they're all going to do the same thing, but you might not realize they have some advanced features. Do you use
RoboForm?
Okay.
Yes.
Do you use RoboForm?
Yes.
So that's funny. That's the one I use too. It allows me to save my credit cards in there, safe notes, all of my mom's passwords, and Henry's passwords. So yeah, it does a lot more than just store your passwords. So it saves credit cards, safe notes, bookmarks, and it works across all your browsers and on all your devices.
That's why I
That's
got
the
it.
main. Yeah,
That's
the
why I
main.
got it.
And they're all the same. So whether you use RoboForm or one of its competitors, just make sure you're using all of its features. Before I forget, go.
And as someone whose mom was arrested
Arrested.
and held, when you have that happen and you're trying to figure out someone's life
Right.
and bills and accounts and everything else, having a document like that is invaluable.
So how many times have I texted you and the anonymous person in the room my master password? So I have a master password, which we all do. And, I trust, obviously, my dearest friends and my mom and my boyfriend with it, so that if something happens to me, whether I'm incapacitated or I actually die, they have that one password. Hopefully among 7 people, somebody has written it down
It's saved
somewhere.
on my phone in the ocean.
So that somebody can go to RoboForm and look up my insurance and my banks and my credit cards. Jesus, people help me. God.
I'm sure it's backed up.
I'm sure it's backed up somewhere. Liz, tell us real quick. You recently went on a trip to Italy. Okay. And normally you work on your iPad.
Yes.
And you called me up and said, I want something more than the iPad, but not bigger than the iPad. And you wanted to be able to use, ask for the world and you will get it, Liz McCausland. And you wanted to be able to use 2 screens because
Yes.
we all agree that 2 screens
It's preferred.
is way
if not
preferred.
necessary.
I'm much more productive. And I
Right.
know everything has split screen now, but I am much
not the
more
same.
productive with
No,
2
just-
screens.
Split screen doesn't work, even if
No.
they're tiny screens.
Yes.
Okay, so talk about what you did
Okay.
after a consult.
So I obviously consulted with the expert Adriana Linares, and I ended up getting a Surface Go, not the Pro.
Right.
Because for me, the Go was a better size. It's small and portable, and it has cellular.
It's the same size
As my
a
iPad.
standard iPad, and a third the price of a full-blown Surface.
Exactly. And because it has the cellular, I can use it anywhere. And so I bought it also because all of my documents, et cetera, are in Office 365. And since I was going to be gone in Italy, I wanted to be able to check on my office, check on my work from there. And so I now have the Surface, and I still bring my iPad because one thing is I know I'm a sucker. If I don't want to do something, I will find anything to do but that. So I'll go on social media or I'll shop. So my Surface just has
Poshmark just
work.
sucks my life away.
Exactly. So I just have my work on my Surface, but my iPad's for everything fun. And then when I'm working, I will connect my iPad to my Surface using Duet. And then I have 2 screens because you can drag and drop just like you were in the office with 2 screens.
And Duet is an app. Do you remember
It's
what you
an
paid
app.
for it?
At the time that I got it, it was actually free.
Oh.
I have, in terms of automation, I have if this then that, and I asked it to tell me if when apps went on special for free.
I got it on special too through that same process.
did?
Yeah, I did. I think I paid like $5 for it
So do
through
you
that.
use your iPad and a Surface as well?
I do.
Okay.
For Duet.
Yeah.
You can also use your cell phone. I mean, you don't need, if
Yeah.
you don't have your iPad with you, because I don't always carry my iPad. I normally have my Surface with me.
Yeah, you can use a phone or you can use a laptop, desktop, anything.
Any monitor.
platform.
Any monitor, yeah.
Do you remember what you paid for your Surface Go?
I just got it, but it was under $1,000. I know that, but that was with the keyboard and the pen, and
So you got everything.
I think
They
everything.
start at $399 or $499. Then the keyboard's $100, and then the pen is
Right.
You can get an off-market pen, but the pen's probably $60. Okay, so for less than $1,000, you got a full-blown Windows device that was lightweight. You can use as a tablet if you need, but it's the same size as your iPad, and you were able to travel with both of them.
And I did, yes.
Okay.
And then taking a train from Rome to Tuscany, I just did my work on the train.
So hard being Liz McCausland.
It is.
I wanted to ask you, Renee, do you know if Melanie still uses Rent the Runway?
She does.
Okay, so we're going to switch real quick because I didn't want to not mention that for those.
She uses it on mostly formal occasions now. She used to use it almost daily.
Let's talk about it. Because I think any lady listeners will appreciate this tip.
So Rent the Runway has, you have the ability to basically rent clothes through the app, and they will send you high-end, really nice, even couture clothes that you can rent for a very limited amount of money. So those things you may wear once if it's a formal dress, and you're probably not going to wear it again anyway. So it really works well, especially if you need it in a formal setting.
And she has them delivered to her hotel where she's going to a special event sometimes. And then so it delivers to the hotel.
Yes.
And then I think she ships it right back out from the hotel after she's worn it, if I remember correctly.
If you're traveling, they will ship it to wherever you want and give you the garment bag to return it as well, because they do all the dry cleaning and everything that goes with that. So, I mean, unless you're in a place that has a Rent the Runway stores like Chicago or DC, where you actually want to go in and try on what is you're renting, maybe it's a really special occasion, and they will do a fitting for you at those stores if you really are the kind of person who needs hands-on. But if not, once you figure out which styles and which designers work for you, you pay a fraction of the cost to be able to wear those items. And like I said, put it in a bag and send it back right from wherever you're at.
And they have it unlimited now. If you really think you're going to use it a lot, they have it unlimited that you pay a monthly fee.
I pay monthly for Stitch Fix, which I like.
Is that a styling service? Is that where they send you clothes to buy?
I like my shirt.
Latote is kind of like Rent the Runway for everyday clothes.
Latote. Okay, got it. So I use Stitch Fix, and I get to keep the clothes if I want at a discount price.
And Amazon does the same.
And our anonymous source just noted that apparently Ann Taylor Loft is starting a delivery service. So even for clothes, I'll tell you, I never want to leave my house or apartment or office. I mean,
you really don't have to.
I can't stand going into retail stores anymore. Like, to walk into a mall is absolute torture for me.
It's the parking. It's the hassle that goes along with dragging your bags
freezing
around.
Air conditioning.
I mean, that's what grocery shopping has become for me. I mean, all that lugging of everything. That's why I love the pickup delivery option. So.
I will tell you right now, if you're looking to save money and you go through a grocery store the way I do, like an octopus, just pulling things off of both sides of the shelf.
It's true. You save money by using the service.
Money by using these delivery services. One more that I just want to mention, because I'm thinking about Melanie, which we should actually give her a shout out for her business. Our friend Melanie Griffin.
She runs Spread Your Sunshine.
Is it spreadyoursunshine.com?
I believe so.
She's really neat. But doesn't she also use Driver because she doesn't like driving herself places?
Yes, she does.
I haven't had occasion to use it, but I did sign up. So it's Driver with a Y.
Right, but she very much was like you. She found one she liked from Driver and then started hiring him all the time.
She uses that. There's a designated driver service
Be
where
My
she
DD.
lives. Yeah, where if you go out one evening and you want them to actually come get your car and take it back, they will do that as well. So there's lots of services that can help you.
Well, my Shipt shopper also became my driver to and from the airport. So,
but it makes sense. I mean, if you are a professional solo practitioner at your hourly rate and you are driving somewhere,
and you're married, and you have kids, and you've got family, I mean, how do you not figure out how to employ all of these great services and tools? I hope we've inspired
And
people.
you really can do them affordably, though.
Yeah.
Like there are ways you should save money with them. For one, not going shopping yourself.
Not going to the grocery store.
And
or
time.
to the mall where, I go crazy. Shipt sends, what did I just say?
Stitch Fix.
Stitch Fix sends a shipment. I just turned it to every other month, though, because I don't need that much new clothes. But it really does save me money. If I go into a store and they're having a sale, forget about it.
Well, and time is money.
Yeah.
So it saves a lot of time as well.
Yeah. Well, ladies, this has been really great and really fun, and I absolutely appreciate your time and your willingness to share all of your resources and the way you all run your busy practices. If anyone wants to find, friend, or follow you, let them know how they can do that. Renee?
You can find me on pretty much every social media platform. But if you're on Twitter, I'm at Legally Renee. On LinkedIn, Renée Thompson.
Renee, congratulations on being named a Fast Case 50
Oh,
honor.
thank you. Very excited about that.
We're everyone's big fans of Fast Case, and what an honor that is to be
huge.
recognized as a leader in technology. Good job, Renee.
Thank you.
And Liz, well, you're just retired from all that now.
Yeah, without a phone, I don't have anything.
No, you got nothing. But why don't you tell everybody how they can find, friend, or follow you if they're interested in learning more or asking you some questions about... Oh, and wait, let's say one more thing. Mediation training?
Yes.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
So Liz and I are starting an endeavor where we're actually becoming mediation trainers and starting our own company. So we will actually be training mediators all over the state of Florida very shortly.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Well, good. Well, when that gets out there, we'll make sure and boost your awareness, boost the awareness of your awesome endeavor.
And
Liz,
we have some other things that'll be coming soon. So we'll have to tell you those when they happen.
we're all just a bunch of busy little entrepreneurs. We're all
Makes
just,
life fun. That's what makes life fun.
It does, and it's really great when you can do it with good friends.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, guys. Liz, don't forget to tell us where we can find, friend, follow, or stalk you.
Well, I'm on Twitter, but I don't know my name. I think it's at Liz McCausland.
I think it's just your name,
Don't you
Liz.
have an automation? Do you have an automation for this?
I do, but I don't have my phone anymore. So it's at Liz McCausland. It's LizMcCausland. I'm also on Facebook, and on Instagram, I'm what my law school professor used to call me. So it's L Fosbee, LF as in Frank, OSBEE.
Cute little pet name. Well, thanks everyone for listening to another episode of New Solo on Legal Talk Network. If you like what you've heard today, we'd love for you to share the episodes, subscribe, rate us on iTunes, and remember, you're not alone, you're New Solo.
Thanks for listening to New Solo with host Adriana Linares. Tune in again to learn more about how to successfully run your new practice. Solo, here on Legal Talk Network. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.